I'm circling the sun. I wanna do so many things, things I have never done. Just show me where the path gives out, and that's where I'll run. I'll never be a passenger for what someone else desires. I'm wild as the lavender, but hungry like a fire. If you ask me where I keep my roots, I'll point up to the sky. It all comes down to this growing feeling. It's in my blood, it's what I'm needing. One ball bound, raise it towards the ceiling for the lucky ones.
Hey guys, Ross here, TGM Overland Outfitters. I wanted to go over quick pitch, rooftop tent, and weather shade 20-second awning. Just got these in, and we're already on back order for more of the tents. Should hopefully be coming in mid-December, if not mid-January. We'll see. It's not bringing stuff in from overseas works. I think there's a few awnings left, but wanted to go over some of the features of these with you guys because there's really not a lot out there on them yet, and we wanted to make sure that y'all were well informed. So let's get to it. I'm going to set it all up real quick and show you guys what it looks like. It's a quick walk around of everything closed up. You see the awning we've got mounted directly to the structure of the tent. And then on the other side we have our in-suite shower shelter, also mounted to the tent via the brackets from quick pitch to go into this side channel here. All this is sitting on top of our trusty front runner rack. Forgive me, this gimbal's acting weird. Anyway, so 2 clamps to open the tent, and it pops up just like most of the hard shells on the market. So let's get it all set up and we'll give you guys a tour of the inside. So we're going to set the tent up first, mainly because obviously with the 270 awning, kind of get in the way of accessing the clamps in the back if you don't. Your ladder is stored separately outside of the tent, although there is enough room in that clamshell. If you don't have a whole lot of bedding that you're storing in there, you could store the ladder up in the tent as long as you were able to climb up to the access window and pull it out. So we'll go ahead and hook that up first. Pop the tent. Grabbing your bungee. Our 2 rods for tent awning. And voila, your tent is set up. So Set up your post so you can get a peek for runoff, and that's it. We're outside of the shower shelter, which just folds out, as most of you see in the quick pitch and suite. You're set up for camp. So, before you're about to go about setting up a campfire, setting up a kitchen, get some dinner going. So, super convenient setup. Makes life so much easier at the end of a long day on the trails, or even just driving across the blacktop. You're set up in just a couple of minutes. Tear down takes probably 4 to 5 minutes, and you're done and ready to go. Definitely worth the convenience. Let's take a look inside. All right, guys, so taking a look at this thing set up, you can see there are rails on the roof of the tent for mounting crossbars. You can mount, I think it's about 80 pounds of weight to crossbars on top of the tent. Nice steep slope. All aluminum shell. They use aluminum extrusions, and then you can probably see up here, it's all welded together to support the main structure of the tent. So there are no rivets or anything like that holding the shell of your tent together. You've got drip awning coverage across the sides on both those access points, and then kind of more of the full awning on the back. Yeah, this thing is awesome. You see, we use one of our mounting bolts actually as the anchor point for the tensioner strap on the weather shade awning, and this awning is huge. It comes 7 feet out off the truck. Again, extruded aluminum arms with reinforced brackets, all pivoting on this massive stainless steel hinge. And that is, in this case, because we're using it in conjunction with the tent, hard mounted to the tent itself, as opposed to us using a separate bracket system and trying to drop it down here. They're on top of that then, unless you have an extremely high rack. Trying to mount this underneath the tent, it's not going to work. So hard mounting to the tent, really the way to go if you're going to be using both. If not, they are making brackets for this for a few other applications, and we can get you sorted out on fitment on those. So mounted on the rear, we got 2 more on the front, because this is substantially lighter up front than it is all your weight bearing assemblies there in the back. And we are absolutely in love with this setup. It is awesome. So, and then again, peak riser for giving you a high point. Make sure you're getting runoff if it starts raining. There is a single support pole, really only necessary if you're in a spot where it's starting to get kind of windy. Put it out, give it a little bit extra support. But other than that, it's really not necessary. There are mounting points for poles on all of the main arms, because if you get the optional wall kit for the awning, then you'll need the support poles to help support the weight of those walls. But without the walls on there, you really don't need them unless you know it's going to be kind of windy. And then you just only got to put the one leg up. So, super beefy awning. Absolutely love it. But let's go take a look inside the tent. So coming up, our ladder, you can see, is mounted into this little bracket here, which just hooks in. You swing it down. It's nice and secure. That's also mounted to this channel on the outside of the frame rail of the tent. Our driveway is kind of steep here, so you'll have to kind of forgive the angle of things. So I leave, let me see if I can adjust this down a little bit. I leave bedding in the tent all the time. Certainly has nothing to do with me, wanting to take a nap in the middle of the day or something, if I get a chance. Pillows, I will say, if you're using traditional thick pillows, when you close the shell of the tent, go ahead and move those to the middle, because if you're trying to compress them on the back, you're going to be fighting all this fabric, which is folding down. So you're better off kind of stowing them up toward the front here. So underneath all of our bedding here, though, we've got this nice, thick, high-density foam mattress that comes with a cover on it. I just throw this nice, heavy sleeping bag. You know, we're getting into winter right now in Texas, which is mild in comparison to a lot of places, but you get this nice, thick sleeping bag in here. It gives me extra padding, gives me a nice insulating layer. Both the upper and the lower shell of the tent are insulated with foam, so you're not running into any kind of conductive heat loss issues. Let me take my flip-flops off there. So you look up here on the roof and you have storage pockets which velcro shut. So if you want to pack some of your clothes up here in the tent, or leave your night clothes up in the tent, you can do that. So keeping in mind, the more you're able to store in your tent, the less that you have to worry about storing inside the vehicle, which obviously saves you some space for other stuff inside your truck as necessary. So check this out. It is like 5 feet from the base to the top of the tent. So I'm 6'2". I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2", about 220. And I can sit up in here and I've got plenty of room. I've had me and the wife up here and one of the kids. And you know, we're snugglers, so we can get comfortable. But for 2 people, there's plenty of space, even if you're a larger size person. So there's more than enough room inside this tent. It's phenomenal. So again, storage pockets on the top, high density foam mattress on the bottom, your insulated top and bottom. You've got heavy ripstop canvas to keep all the elements out, and then 3 sides of coverage, which you don't get with some models of tent. So you're not worried about stuff dripping down inside the tent while it's raining outside and you're trying to sleep. You're able to keep these windows partially open to keep good ventilation going. You're not fighting moisture issues that you typically would. So we'll go down, we'll take another quick overview, and that'll be about it. So one of the things I forgot to mention when I was up in the tent is that there is, on the bottom here, this little Anderson connector. This Anderson connector, which I haven't wired in yet, is connected to a 12-volt outlet inside the tent, as well as a couple of USB ports. So if you have this thing tied into your auxiliary power system on your vehicle, if you're running dual batteries, you'll be able to charge devices. The other thing is that you've got this nifty little bendy stick reading light that is tucked into the tent. Bear in mind too that since you have the 12-volt outlet and the USB ports, you will also be able to run some string lighting if you wanted to illuminate it more inside the tent at night, other than just hanging a lantern, you know, small LED lanterns up. You'd actually be able to wire in some additional lighting as is necessary for your application. So not everybody likes a whole lot of light up in their tent. I guess it just kind of depends on what you're doing, but it's an option, and it's a good option to have. You don't even have to wire it in if you don't want to. If you're just gonna crawl up there and sleep, but it's nice to know that it's there. So let's give you guys a more good look at this thing. It is absolutely beastly. And that's awesome. Open and closes on the gas struts. Something else to note about this tent. Look at the location of your gas strut. It's tucked on the inside of the shell. So when it closes, your gas strut is protected inside the shell of the tent. So no worries about tree branches hitting it hard and knocking it loose or breaking your strut. That's not a concern with this design. That's just one problem that I've had with some of the hard shell tents that I've seen, and I kind of get why they do it, but I don't like it personally. So having that protected strut inside the main frame of the tent gives me a lot of peace of mind that I'm less worried about ripping off this. And honestly, if I'm hitting low-hanging branches that hard that I'm tearing stuff off my truck, I have a whole other set of problems. But knowing that I'm not going to bump up against something and knock that strut off, because if your struts are gone, good luck figuring out how to. You get creative and keep the shell of the tent open, but it's not going to be fun. So, nice thing to keep in mind. That's a big beefy strut too. It's no joke. They're screwing around with that thing. Little details that matter. Again, you've got that bungee cord there so that, and you'll see it in the video when I show teardown, that bungee cord snaps up, which is pretty common in most of these kind of tents, to help keep that rain fly kind of tucked in as you're closing the tent. You'll still have to reach around and tuck a few little folds of fabric in here and there, but that's just nature of the beast. Big, nice, long, rubber-handled strap for pulling it shut. Again, you've got that nice 270 awning. Comes out 7 feet off the truck. Gives you tons of room for activities. So I'm losing some light. It's about time to wrap this up. So let's get it shut down. Get you guys another good look of it closed up. Nice tight package. Move the camera back a little bit and try to get you guys a little better view. Close last time. All right. So first step, obviously, we got to take the awning down in order to get the tent down. At least that's what makes the most sense. So, getting ahead of myself here. Go ahead and close my arm that gives me my peak. Unhook my strap, and this just walks right back around that nice big beefy hinge. Tuck it in. Now there's 3 Velcro straps that are mounted to the top part of the frame. Pull those out. And there's no need to fold or do any kind of crazy ninja stuff with getting the awning rolled back up in the case. You just grab it at the bottom and start rolling. It'll roll up, get you a strap through the loop on the bottom of the frame. Tucked up in there. Now I like to keep my zippers down just because it's a little bit less prone to water permeating that seam in the zipper. If it rains hard enough, stuff comes through anyway. And that's, if you've had experience with awnings, you already know that. But keeping zippers down is just something I learned kind of helps keep some of that water out. So, awning packs up, super simple, super fast. Absolutely love that. Let's take the tent. I like opening my swing out just because I've got a little bit more room to stand on the rear other than trying to balance on the stand. Stick our rods down. Stow those tent. I like to try to fold these flaps over a little bit just to try to keep them a little bit more compressed whenever the tent starts to come down. Makes for a little bit less time to try to tuck. Make sure all that's rolled in good. That wood piece inside can fit in the block right here. So keeping in mind, you'll see how it's kind of resting with a little bit of a gap. That's because I have bedding and other stuff packed inside the tent. If you don't have anything other than what the tent comes within, the thing kind of closes down pretty much on its own and sits where it needs to. But if you're going to store stuff in there, you will have to kind of put a little bit of weight on it to compress it down. Get your latches on. That's it. Collapse your ladder, unhook it off the side, throw it in the truck. Or if you want to store it in the tent, if you don't have that much bedding in there, you can toss it up in there, close the tent with the ladder in it. I like storing it in my truck though, just because it's a little easier to access, not having to climb up on the side of the truck, especially if it's been raining. Tires are slick, or stuff's covered in mud, and I'm trying to climb up there and get something out of my tent. I'd rather just pull the ladder out of the truck. So, that's it. That's breakdown of the Quick Pitch rooftop tent and the Weather Shade 20-sec awning, also from Quick Pitch. Two phenomenal systems. They work great together, and we can't wait to set you guys up with some of them. Another feature of note, and I'm losing daylight quick here, so try to wrap this up. Each one of your clamps for the shell of the tent has eyelets on it, so you can padlock those to keep anything that you have inside the tent nice and secure. Security is always one of those things that we're worried about on the trail, because let's face it, we've all had to stop in some spots that were less than desirable to spend the night just because we didn't make the time we wanted to, or we're just in a bind and had to sleep in a Walmart parking lot or a truck stop or something that feels kind of shady, or even just parking your truck somewhere to go in and grab a bite to eat where you're not going to be within line of sight. So added peace of mind. This does use the L bracket method for mounting. So you've got an anchor point on the side, you've got an anchor point on the channel underneath the tent, and then you're anchored to the roof rack. So we're actually anchored on this setup to the rail of this rack, and it supports it very well. So checking it out. You guys have any questions, hit us up. We are more than happy to answer them and hopefully get you guys set up with some of this really cool gear. So it's really awesome having Quick Pitch starting to really get a foothold in the US. We're excited about that. Excited to be one of their dealers. That's it. It's that simple. Up and down in just a few minutes. Sunset's quick this time of year. Don't let that be deceiving. Guys, we hope to see you out on the trail. I'm Ross with TGM Overland Outfitters. That's us right there. Check us out on the web, tgmoverland.com. Facebook, TGM Overland, Instagram at TGM Overland, and cannot wait to see and meet some of you guys out on the trail. Until then, get out.
Is I'm born to let go, born to let go, born to let go. My adventure, but I'm never satisfied, and no, you'll never tie me down. Stronger souls have tried, so treat me like a shooting star in your midnight sky.